Good day, everyone. Today, we're diving into the world of interactionist theory. As the name suggests, this theory is all about how we interact with one another. But what exactly do we mean by interaction? Let's break it down. Let's define the word interaction. Interaction is a face to face process consisting of actions, reactions, and mutual adaptation between two or more individuals. It also includes animal interactions such as mating. The interaction includes all language, including body language, and mannerisms. Interaction is a face to face process, meaning interaction primarily happens in person involving direct communication. It also includes action, reaction, and mutual adaptation, meaning it's a dynamic process where individuals respond to each other's actions and adjust their behavior accordingly. In interaction, it must involve two or more individuals. Interaction requires at least two people. It also includes animal interaction. The concept of interaction extends to animals such as mating behaviors. It also involves language and mannerisms, meaning there are communications through words, body language, and other non-verbal cues is essential. Essentially, it emphasizes that interaction is a fundamental human and animal behavior that involves reciprocal exchanges and adjustments. Interaction is the process which the ability to think is both developed and expressed. In most interaction, actors must take others into consideration and decide if and how to fit their activities to others. Interaction as a developmental process suggests that the ability to think is not only expressed through interaction but also developed within it. This implies that our cognitive abilities are shaped by our social interactions. Considering others in interaction emphasizes that in most interactions, individuals must take into account the perspective and actions of others. This requires empathy, understanding, and the ability to adapt one's behavior to fit within a social context. In essence, it highlights the social nature of thought and the importance of considering others in our interactions. Interactionism is a theoretical perspective that derives social processes such as conflict, cooperation, identify formation from human interaction. What do we mean by interactionism as a theoretical perspective? It derives social processes from human interaction. This means that interactionism views social phenomena like conflict, cooperation, and identity formation as arising from the way individuals interact with each other. It emphasizes the role of face to face communication and symbolic meaning in shaping social structures and behaviors. It is the study of how individuals act within society. What do we mean by study of individual action within society? It focuses on micro-level interactions. Interactionism takes a bottom-up approach, focusing on how individuals interpret and respond to their social environments. It examines how people create meaning through their interactions and how these meanings influence their actions and identities. In essence, interactionism is a sociological perspective that highlights the importance of human agency and the dynamic nature of social life. It emphasizes that society is not a fixed structure but rather a product of ongoing social interactions. Interactionist theories. Interactionist theory has its origin in the social psychology of early 20th century. Sociologists George Herbert Mead and Charles Horton Cooley. Mead and Cooley examined the ways in which the individual is related to society through ongoing social interactions. It highlights that interactionist theory emerged from the work of these early sociologists who were interested in understanding how individuals and society are interconnected through social interaction. It emphasizes that our interactions with others shape our identities and our understanding of the social world.
Purpose of interactionist theory. Interactionist theory attempt to take the commonplace strange by turning on their heads everyday taken for granted behaviors and interactions between students and teachers. It is an exactly what most people do not question that is most problematic to the interactionist. What does this theory wants to convey? The interactionist theory is a perspective that focuses on the small interactions and relationships in everyday life in the context of school. This theory aims to examine how everyday actions, such as a conversation between teachers and students, the distribution of power within the classroom, and even behaviors or norms that are accepted as normal impact our views on issues of power, relations, and culture. For example, interactionists might look at simple aspects like how teachers and students interact in class, or how a teacher's discipline method affect a student's self-esteem and perceptions of themselves. According to interactionists, these normal actions have deep implication on how culture is shaped within the school, as well as the relationship between people within the educational system. Symbolic interactionism. Individual is related to society through ongoing social interactions. Symbolic interactionism is a theory that suggests every person is connected to society through continuous interactions and communication with others. This means that the actions, words, and symbols we use have a specific meaning that are created and value in these interactions. Therefore, our relationships with society is based on how this understanding impact with others. Other meaning of symbolic interactionism is view the self socially constructed in relation to social force and structures and the product of ongoing negotiations of meanings. Thus, the social self is an active product human agency rather than a deterministic product of social structures. According to this perspective, our self is formed based on our interactions with other people and society. It is not something that is predetermined or imposed by the structures of society, but rather a result of an ongoing process of constructing and understanding the meanings from our interactions. This means that our social self or identity is not something imposed on us, but an active process in which we ourselves participate and create. Through each interactions, we learn new things about ourselves and our role in society. So our identity is always changing and evolving. Symbolic interactionism which requires mental process. Symbolic interactionism requires a mental process, meaning we need to think in order to understand the symbols, words, and meaning shared in our interactions. In simple terms, we use our minds to assign meaning to things and situations based on our experience and interaction with others. For example, we are communicate with someone, the words and action we use carry specific meanings that we understand based on our previous experience and relationship with them.
Let's break down the principles of symbolic interactionism. 1. Human beings, unlike lower animals, are endowed with the capacity for thought. This principle emphasizes that humans possess a unique ability to think abstractly and symbolically. Unlike animals, we can reflect on our experiences, form ideas, and engage on complex cognitive processes. 2. The capacity for thought is shaped by social interaction. This principle highlights that our thoughts and understanding of the world are not formed in isolation. Instead, they are shaped by our interactions with others. Through social interactions, we learn language, culture, and norms which influence how we perceive and interpret the world. 3. In social interaction, people learn the meanings in the symbols that allow them to exercise their distinctively human capacity for thought. This principle focuses on the role of symbols and language in human interaction. Symbols, such as words, gestures, and objects, carry shared meanings that enable us to communicate and understand each other. Through social interaction, we learn to interpret these symbols and use them to express our thoughts and ideas. In essence, symbolic interactionism suggests that our sense of self, our understanding of the world, and our behavior are all shaped by social interactions we have and the symbols we use to communicate.
Number 4. Meanings and symbols allow people to carry on distinctly human action and interaction. Meaning, this principle emphasizes through shared meaning symbols in human interaction. Symbols such as language, gestures, objects enable us to communicate complex ideas and coordinate our action. Without shared meanings, effective social interaction will be possible. Number 5. People are able to modify to alter meanings and symbols that they use in action and interaction on the basis of their interpretation of decisions. Meaning, this principle highlights the dynamic nature of meaning with the human capacity to adapt and interpret symbols. People constantly modify and create meanings based on their experiences, social context, individual perspective. This flexibility allows us to respond creatively, changing circumstances and evolve individual and society.
Hello everyone, may I discuss to you the non-symbolic interactionism. Non-symbolic interactionism, the differentiation made by Bloomer following made between two basic forms of social interaction is relevant here. The first non-symbolic interaction means conversation of gestures does not involve thinking. The second symbolic interaction does not require mental processes, Richard 2000. While non-symbolic interaction focuses on how humans use symbols and language to interact and construct meaning, non-symbolic interactionism refers to a more basic forms of interaction that does not involve conscious thoughts or the use of symbols. In here, it discussed the distinction made by Herbert Blumer following George Herbert Mead between two types of social interaction, which is the non-symbolic interaction or the conversation gestures. This type of interaction involves simple and reflective responses to stimuli. It does not require conscious thought or use of symbols. Examples include animals responding to each other's body language or simple reflexes. On the other hand, the symbolic interaction. This type of interaction involves the use of symbols and language to communicate meaning. It requires conscious thoughts, interpretations of symbols. Humans primarily engage in this type of interaction. In summary, the image of highlights the difference between basic non-symbolic interaction and the more complex symbolic interaction that characterizes human society.
Med's approach to symbolic interaction rested on three basic premises. The first is that people act toward the thing that they encounter on the basis of what those things mean to them. People act toward things on the basis of the meaning they assist to those things. This premise emphasizes that our actions are guided by our interpretation of the world. We don't just respond to object or situation directly. We respond to the meaning we attach to them. For example, a red light means stop, so we stop our car. Second, we learn what things are by observing how other people respond to them. That is through social interaction. This premise highlights that our understanding of the world is shaped by our interaction with others. We learn that meaning of things through social premises like language, culture, shared experience. For instance, we learn that a handshake is a gesture of greetings because we see others using it that way. Third, as a result of ongoing interaction, the sound or words, gesture of facial expression, and body posture we use in dealing with the others acquire symbolic meaning that are by shared by people who belong to the same culture. The meaning of symbolic gesture extend beyond the act itself. A handshake, for instance, is a symbolic gesture of greetings among Filipinos, as such as sa conveys more than a mutual grasping of finger and palms. It's pressure both parties shared understanding that a social interaction is beginning. Meaning are handled in and modified through an interpretive process used by the person in dealing with the thing. These premises suggest that our interpretation of things are not mixed but be modified through ongoing interaction. We constantly adjust our understanding of things based on new experience and information. For example, if we learn that a handshake can also a sign of respect in a particular culture, we may modify our understanding of its meaning. Med's three premises of symbolic interaction offer a powerful framework for understanding how human beings create meaning, interact with each other, and shape society. These premises emphasize the importance of social interaction, shared meaning, and the active role of individual in interpreting and modifying their understanding of the world. By recognizing the significance of these factors, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity of human behavior and the social force that shape our lives.
Physical objects, chair and tree. Physical objects are tangible entities that have a definite shape, size, and mass, allowing them to perceive through our senses. They exist in a physical world. It can be interaction and directly. Meaning, both chairs and trees exemplify physical objects that serve distinct functions in our lives. Chairs is providing comfort and utility in human environments, while trees contribute in social objects, student and mother. Social objects are entities that facilitate social interactions and relationships among individuals. They embody roles and identities within a community or society, influencing how people relate to one another and function with social structures. In that case, both students and mothers exemplify social objects that significantly shape human interaction and social structures. Students contribute to the collective knowledge and future of society through education, while mothers play a vital role in nurturing individuals and fostering family bonds. Together, these roles highlight the importance of relationship and social responsibilities in our communities. Abstract objects, ideas, and moral principles. Abstract objects are non-tangible entities that can be physical, perceived, but can be understood intellectually or emotionally. They often present concept values are principles that influence thoughts, behavior, and social norms. Meaning, both ideas and moral principles exemplify abstract objects that significantly impact human thought and behavior. Ideas foster creativity and innovation, while moral principles guide ethical conduct and societal values. Together, they illustrate the power of non-tangible concepts in shaping our understanding of the world and interaction with others. The image illustrates the concept of the looking glass self, a sociological theory proposed by Charles Horton Colley. It suggests that our self-image is shaped by how we perceive others' perceptions of us. In this image, the individual self-concept is influenced by their mother, father, and girlfriend's views. The mother's negative perception seems to have a significant impact, while the girlfriend's positive one might contract into the some extent. However, the father's neutral or positive view could also contribute to the individual's overall self-image. The theory highlights how our self-esteem and identity are influenced by the feedback we are received from significant others.